This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
They say the sun and a shine for all, but the young some people world yet never shine at all. These roads of flames are catching a fire. Showed you love, you call me a liar. Oh no, no, no.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
We can praise God in the moonlight. Baby, if you with me, better do right. And I'm going to
is brought to you by the Bahamas South Island Promotion Board, Burger King, the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, the Cleveland Clinic, the Thin Castle Media Group, Fine Threads, First Caribbean Bank, Janae's Uniform Center, John's Department Store, Joker's Wild, KFC, Naughty Johnny's, Percy's Island Games, Prince Masters, and Tropical Gyros.
showed you love till you call me a liar. Give God the thanks and praises. I've been on my own, but we ain't never left alone. And if I'm telling you the feeling is wrong, relax a little, friend, this won't take too long. And when you're feeling alone, you can call my phone. Is there a better way to go? Teach them something before they lose the song. Oh, no. Freedom is the wrong. Oh, no. Coming in from the cold.
You got it locked and loaded to the Friday, June 21st edition of Talking Heads. Your boy Naughty and your company right up until 6 p.m. Purdy will be joining us in the 5 o'clock hour. And sorry to disappoint, MJ is a little bit under the weather today. She got the, that cold, the flu that's going around. So we wish her a speedy recovery. So she can be back at it next week. But she sends her regards, but she's a little under the weather today. But that's all right. It's all good. We got a great show lined up for you. Very special guest who we'll be talking to on the flip side of the break. The deputy leader of the Free National Movement, Mr. Shannon Cartwright, will be our guest. I'll have a great conversation with him. And if it's any indication how we've been carrying on in the house, this is going to be a hot show today. So buckle up. It's going to be hot after the break. You know how to chime in. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. In New Providence, toll free in any one of the Family Islands, 242-300-5720, 242-300-5720. Text lines powered by BTC, 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Stream us live. Take us wherever you want to go. GuardianTalkRadio.com. That's GuardianTalkRadio.com. Cable channel 969, BTC Flow channel 612. That's how you get it in. That's how you get it on. For fresh news, smart talk all day, right here on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Quick break. Flip side of the break, we'll be getting into the buzz. What you buzzing on? All brought to you, of course, with John Shoes. And our special guest will be Deputy Leader of the Free National Movement, Mr. Shannon Cartwright, on the flip side of the break as the Friday, June 21st edition of Talking Heads continues right after this.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Print Masters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Play with Island Games. We making dreams come true. Play with Island Games. We paying more out to you. Don't mind the noise in the market. You getting cash in your pocket. 'Cause Island Games is spicy and spicy is tradition. So when you play Island Games, we putting Bahamians first. Guaranteed to pay. Island Games. We like them other jokers. We've been here from the start. From the bike to computer. Island Games. We can make your dreams come true. We playing with Island Games.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope. creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Learn more at cancercenter.com.
Is it a burger?
No. Is it pizza?
Come on, man, it's KFC. Whatever the crunch this is, it's delicious. New, the Kentucky Chizza Sandwich. Crispy chicken topped with marinara sauce, mozzarella, and pepperoni. Order your Chizza Sandwich now at kfcnassau.com or at your favorite KFC restaurant today. It's new and it's radical. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Happy Independence Bahamas! Let's celebrate 50+1 together with a unique Janae's Uniform Center Independence print, dry-fit polo or t-shirts, ribbons and pole bows in black, gold, and aquamarine. Janae's special family package includes buy 2 adults and 3 children Independence polos or t-shirts and get 15% off. Outfit your staff for a special Independence dress of week or day with a different design. For more than 30 pieces of Janae's Independence polos or t-shirts, get up to 25% discount. Janae's Uniform Center Chesapeake Road Independence Selections. Choose your favorite and celebrate 50+1. Restrictions apply.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
It's time for The Buzz. What are you buzzing on? Brought to you by John's Shoes.
I got you on the Friday, June 21st edition of Talking Heads. And, of course, we go over the big stories of the week each and every Friday. And, obviously, my special guest today is going to help me go over one of the biggest stories of the week. Actually, 2 of the biggest stories of the week. It's my pleasure to have in studio the deputy leader of the Free National Movement, a gentleman I've known for a number of years in many capacities since he was on Fry's, starting all the way up. My good friend, Mr. Shannon Don Cartwright. How are you, man?
Hey, Naughty, it's good to be here. Good day to the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Now I could say, finally, Shannon Dawn has come to Talking Heads. So it's going on. Fam good? Everybody good? I see you had some graduations going on, man, so you must be the proud papa.
Yeah, we're very, very, very proud. I mean, obviously, the circle of life continues, and any time that you can enjoy the experience in this life of your kids graduating from university, it continues to be an honor. And so just grateful to God that we've been allowed to, my wife and I have been allowed to see so far in this life that the girls graduate from university.
Good stuff, man. You've done well with them. And the degrees, again, remind me?
Degrees in economics and marketing.
Future nation builders.
Absolutely.
And tell the one in marketing, Uncle Naughty rooting for her, because I'm a marketing guy myself.
Of course.
But let's talk what we got to talk about, man. Glad to know you're doing well. But obviously, we saw you first and foremost in the house this week. Please tell us about deplane. Because I feel like tattoo. I've been saying deplane all week, man.
Well, listen, we let me just say from the outset that people shouldn't be reminded, but obviously we are in the House of Assembly as members of Parliament, but in particular as an opposition to hold the government into account. That may be at the chagrin, if you will, of the government and those persons who may feel that the government is going about it the right way. But our job is to hold the government accountable on behalf of the Bahamian people, and particularly in a budget exercise where they are spending the Bahamian people's money. And our job, when they come to us to approve these allocations, is to ask questions. You've heard oftentimes that the opposition will have its say, but the government will have its way because they have the majority. So we owe it to our constituents and the Bahamian people to ask questions that may not be answered in that particular exercise, but definitely days after. There should be some accountability and questions should be answered. As it relates particularly to the plane, we were flabbergasted that the government would ask the Parliament of the Bahamas to allocate, they've allocated $2.5 million to spend on an aircraft. And so we were very much concerned, what were the details of this aircraft? Are there any logs that would indicate maintenance issues, the whole history of the aircraft, particularly when it was explained in the House Assembly that it would be used for government officials to travel around the country. And so when the statement came out from the office of the Prime Minister that this was now aircraft that had been acquired through confiscation, if you will.
Yeah, that's where the questions started to come in. So I'm glad you were there because this question: where did the plane come from, Mr. Cartwright? Where did it come from, Shannon?
So we are on behalf of the Bahamian people. We have asked for details. Where did the plane come from? Again, the logs.
See, my question is not to cut you off, but obviously it leads to speculation if without a proper Freedom of Information Act.
Right.
And that's something that the Bahamian people want. I think that's something that the F&M administration needs to look at. If you're going to be the next government of the day, you all need to really look at putting that on the books and have that as a viable option. Because if we had this, we wouldn't have had Bermuda Gate. We would have known questions about other things. We'd have had answers to other things. We'd have had answers to this. That leaves it up to speculation. And when I hear words confiscate and I can't get the right answer, I'm starting to think, is it a narcos plane? Is it left over from FTX? Is it one of those assets that weren't sold? What's going on with it? Where did it come from? And who are we paying the $2.5 million to confiscate this plane?
Right. And so the question now is, based on the statement that was sent from the office of the Prime Minister, that now this plane had to be retrofitted. We have deep concerns about that particular statement because from our understanding, we've been advised that the plane was already sent to be outfitted, if you will. But there is a fundamental question of how much does it cost? And $2.5 million, right now, Noddy, right now, there is a plane that's in the possession of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force that needs to be repaired. We understand at a cost of little over $1 million. So what we are being told is this $2.5 million could be used to repair the plane that the Defense Force needs, plus buy a similar plane, similar make. So for $2.5 million, you can repair a plane as well as acquire a plane for the same make that the government has said that they have confiscated.
One of
so
those
the Bahamian people need
details. Way more than $2.5 million used. And brand new, they cost way more than $2.5 million. So how they expect me to believe that out of $2.5 million, they could produce two of these planes is crazy.
Absolutely. And so we want details. The leader of the opposition in the press conference yesterday asked that they lay in the Parliament of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas the logs, again, that would shed some light on the durability of this aircraft, ensuring that this isn't some hazardous lemon, if you will, that we're putting up in the air. So there are a lot of questions, particularly as you talk about the allocation of $2.5 million. And let me just add, the Bahamian people see this as analogous to the purchase of the BMW and the two elevators in the last 3 years for $3 million.
At least with the Beamer, I know and you know it was brand new. I mean, I know who sold it to him. That's where I got my Beamer from. So I know it was brand new. I don't know about this plane, Mr. Cartwright. Now, I'm not condoning the expenditure on the BM, but at least we know it was brand new. We know we got the Carfax. We need the plane Fox in this plane.
But what I'm emphasizing, what the Bahamian people are continuously concerned about, is the government's changing stories on a myriad of issues that concern the Bahamian people. And so this isn't just simply about the plane and whether or not the use of the plane is justified. This is also about the government's credibility to tell, or lack thereof, a straight story as it relates to a number of issues. This goes to BPL. This goes to NIB. This goes to, you talked about Bermuda Gate. The stories just keep on changing. And at the end of the day, besides the issues with the budgetary deficit, there continues to be a deficit in credibility from this government as far as the Bahamian people are concerned.
Now, let me ask you this, Mr. Cartwright. Do you think this was the right priority, our priority item at this time, buying a plane?
In the budget exercise, there are a number of issues that we pointed out relative to this government's lack of fiscal prudence and fiscal judgment. $220 million at the end of this budget year, end of 2025, $220 million would have been spent on consultants by this government. $220 $220 million. Not $2 million.
No.
Not $20 million.
$20 million.
$220 million. In Parliament, I showed in Parliament with $220 million, just a short list.
I remember.
Some 11,000 police cars, some
1,300 ambulances.
Ambulances,
Yeah.
right? The Bahamian, and this is why the Bahamian people continues to lose confidence, because the government is asking, while taxing the Bahamian people, increasing government fees, asking the Bahamian people to continuously make sacrifices, which they are, beyond what they should be expected to do. Yet the government does not want to tighten its belt, but it continues to spend. This is the same government where, when it came to the midterm budget and we looked at the reallocation of funds, where the government decided to move funds from the disabled, the blind, the deaf.
How cold can you be?
The immobilized in this country. So people may look at the amount that was moved to dismiss the issue, but principally, this is consistent with this government. What they have shown is their inability to be fiscally disciplined. They are back on a number of their targets. The surplus was supposed to be a certain amount. They revisited that in 3 months. And that surplus was supposed to be in 24 in this particular budget. Now they're saying, check us next year on that surplus that we were going to have for the Bahamian people.
No, not those talks.
And while you're on it,
check me back.
While you're on it, we're going to have to deal with this $60 million deficit now. So the government continues to be off on their targets. They continue to be taxing the Bahamian people, increasing fees. One of the things that you hear from the Bahamian people out there, Naughty, is that the Bahamian people understand that there's a level of sacrifice that they must make for the development and the progress and the advancement of the Bahamian people and the country. So they expect sacrifices. Because the government has not had a balanced approach to economic issues and economic policies, now they've put too much, as far as we are concerned, on the backs of the Bahamian people. So, for example, we believe that it's reasonable that a sensible conversation, would be had relative to increases in national insurance to shore up, our Social Security efforts over the decades and so forth. That's a real conversation that needed to be had. The Honorable Miles LaRuda months ago foreshadowed it, talking about the actuarial report. So Bahamians knew at some point that
it was coming.
It was coming, right? Now, given the fact that we get into Parliament and the Honorable Alfred Sayers on that day talked about the increases that would happen over the next 20 years. But again, the Office of the Prime Minister sends out a statement. No. We ain't doing it like that. But again, principally, so the Bahamian people expect that there will be some sacrifices made. So then the question becomes, why not have a balanced approach and ensure that when you ask us to make sacrifices, you're not completely decimating us with increased fees and increased taxes? But where that comes from, as far as we are concerned, during the campaign, you get to say a lot of things that are not necessarily verified in that moment. So the campaign bumper sticker was, we're going to reduce VAT to 10%. Okay?
Excuse me, yeah.
Who has a problem with when you hear that something is going to be reduced? But the fine print was, when you take hundreds of millions of dollars out of the economy, you have to get it back from somewhere. And what this government has essentially done is gone continuously into the pockets of the Bahamian people, tax after tax after tax after tax, all the while spending $220 million on consultants. Wow. Travel budget in Office of the Prime Minister went from $181,000 to $1.5 million, a $700 million increase. The people in Eleuthera continue to contend with no water, no light, no water, no light. And they have a Minister of Works who's the Member of Parliament for South Eleuthera, as well as they had the Chairman of Water and Sewage. So the people of Eleuthera, they themselves are having their own specific issues as far as they're concerned that continues to show that this government is completely out to lunch.
All right, let me ask this question. And I think maybe you've seen it, you've witnessed it in your capacity. But I think there's a lot, and you touched on the fact that the OPM, the statements made in the House of Assembly, and then the OPM comes with another statement on damage control. But what's really going on with this administration? We've seen some misspeaking on the BMW. We've seen some misspeaking. Well, the BMW was now leased. It was purchased. It was leased. BPL, the 100% for 40%. Now it's no longer up for sale. There's a way for us to get it back. And now here we are with the plane. At first it was purchased. Now it was confiscated. Now it's acquired to be confiscated. What do we have?
Right, and this is what the Bahamian people continues to see with this government. That they're a tax and spend government, that they're a government that seems to be unable, not only seems to be unable, they've been unable to tell the stories right, to give consistent stories and consistent explanations on a number of issues, and not just trivial issues. These are issues that impact the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas on a daily basis. These are a number of issues that the Bahamian people have been talking about for decades and frustrated about, and they want the government to address them in a meaningful way. This is a government that, on one hand, talking about speaking out two sides of their government mouth, on one hand, a government that says that the port that was executed, the port development that was executed under the Free National Movement, is the worst deal ever. But yet they say that morning, and then that afternoon, they talk about and gloat about the benefits, justifiably so, the benefits of the port deal to the Bahamian people. So this is a government that clearly is confused at times. This is a government that is in contradiction with itself. This is a government now that talks about this BPL deal. This is the same government that promised the deal in Grand Bahama relative to the Grand Lucayan, and we're still waiting on that. All right, so this is a government where the Bahamian people, they have no confidence that this government is properly prepared to negotiate on behalf of the Bahamian people the right kind of deals that will be to the benefit, long-term benefit of generations of Bahamians.
All right, we got some texts to get to, we got some calls to get to, but I have this question for you, Mr. Cartwright. What are your thoughts on the BPL situation in a nutshell? Obviously, the leader of the FNM, Mr. Michael Pintard, made a great presentation yesterday. The plan seems very viable, very feasible. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. I mean, what's your take on how do we get BPL to where it needs to be? How would the FNM get BPL where it needs to be?
Well, the leader of the opposition would have laid out quite concretely and extensively, one, what the Free National Movement was doing to ensure the long-term viability of BPL, and the benefit to the Bahamian people as it relates to power generation in the country. But he also laid out a number of policy initiatives that our Pintard administration would put into place. And he also foreshadowed in the coming weeks additional policy measures that we would put in place. As it relates specifically to this BPL deal, again, the leader of the opposition has laid out major concerns relative to the parts of this deal and how it's broken up. And how do the Bahamian people, the fundamental question is, even if you accept that there may be some cost savings, and that is debatable, cost savings to the Bahamian people, that cost saving comes at what sacrifice to the patrimony of the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We saw the leader of the opposition would have spoken about two reports that talked about the value of a number of components of BPL, some $800 million in value outside of the distribution and transmission portion of it. So when you look at the fact that there's $30 million, and that also the company has the ability now to go out and, get another $100 million. But you look at the cost of the Bahamian people and what the Bahamian people would be giving up. There are legitimate questions that the leader of the opposition and the opposition itself have put forward in that press conference that we expect the government to answer. He also emphasized, and I think that this is important, this is not about demonizing persons that may see a business opportunity. Our job, the government's job, the opposition's job, is to ensure the best deal for the Bahamian people. So we want to be very careful, because I think at times in these types of discussions, it's easy to demonize certain persons, certain groupings. But this is a legitimate question about what is best as it relates to power generation in the country and the issues that the Bahamian people have continued to deal with over decades. And how do we ensure that the Bahamian people's patrimony is secured? So when we strip away all of the emotions, that also includes not being paralyzed by the fact that there may be some cost savings somewhere, which is very important. But again, the fundamental question is, what are the Bahamian people sacrificing? How many persons benefit from that cost savings? So the overall assessment of what is best for the Bahamian people. And so over the next several weeks, you will see additional comprehensive pieces of policies that the Free National Movement, as the leader of the opposition, the Honorable Michael Pintard, would have expressed yesterday in a press conference.
All right, let me get to these 2 phone calls, and I got some text that I need to get to, and obviously I have a couple more questions on BPL. Let's get to the phone line. So, Talking Heads.
Hey, Naughty, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Hey, Shannon Dawn.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. Second time hearing from you for today.
Who's that?
I saw you earlier in Palmdale.
Oh, okay. Yes. I know who I'm talking to. It was good to see you.
All right. Well, congratulations on your daughter's graduation.
Thank you very much.
What I wanted to ask is, Mr. Pinder said something that I'm curious about. He said that in the deal, BPL will be able to purchase back the shares from the company, right? That's in the plan.
Yes.
My question is, with what money? Because if they can afford to purchase back the shares, why can't they use that money? Would they have to purchase back the shares with to just go ahead and do what they have to do? Because I don't see them being able to purchase back those shares.
Yeah, and so again, this is another indication and example of where the government's as a conversation progresses relative to any issue, the government's retort to initial concerns when it should bring clarity. It doesn't bring clarity. It brings more confusion. Because of course the government has said from a number of personnel within the government that BPL is not being privatized. They're also saying that BPL is not being sold. So the Bahamian people continues to ask questions. We will continue to ask questions on behalf of you and the rest of the Bahamian people every day, because this is fundamentally important for us to get this right on so many levels.
Yes, because it's confusing to me, because if it's fixed where they can purchase back the shares, and I'm not a financial person, but I have enough sense to know if I purchase something from you at $10 today, you're not getting that back from me for $10 tomorrow.
Absolutely.
The have grown.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So where will BEC get this money back to purchase back these shares? Obviously, BPL. BPL will not be able to purchase back those shares. We own about 60% of the shares also.
So again, the questions that continue to remain that the leader of the opposition would have placed again ever so succinctly on the record yesterday at our press conference. And so we await for the government not to please us. We are there to represent the Bahamian people. We are here to represent the Bahamian people, and the Bahamian people expects answers.
True. And I keep asking. I mean, unfortunately, your questions are still going unanswered 3 years in. However, don't give up the fight. Just keep on asking. I guess hopefully closer to election, they may decide to answer a question or two. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Let me just say to this, we will continue to agitate and fight on behalf of the Bahamian people. At the end of the day, it's the Bahamian people that will continue to have their say and will have their say in any forthcoming election. And so all of us know that's why it is so important to be accountable to the Bahamian people, because ultimately and rightfully and justifiably so, they decide who governs them. And if those policies or decisions that they have made in the lead up to an election were either good or bad for the Bahamian people, and likewise as an opposition, our job is to present an alternative view, and not only alternative view, but to present a vision, an alternate policy, perspective, and vision that the Bahamian people will be willing to support.
All right. We got the other caller on the line, Talking Heads.
Hey, what's happening, Naughty?
Hey, what's going on?
Brother Patrick.
What you got for me, Knowledge? What's going on?
Next Deputy Prime Minister of the Bahamas.
How you doing, man?
Hey, let me encourage you to continue fighting on behalf and speaking on behalf of the Bahamian people. Continue to expose and to keep these people's feet to the fire. And, just be encouraged and continue what y'all doing in the house, man. Y'all doing a great job on behalf of the Bahamian people, and we paying attention, we listening.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Let me ask you one question.
Sure.
Next year when the Prime Minister calls election, God's willing, Mr. Pentad becomes the leader, becomes the Prime Minister, and you becomes the Deputy Prime Minister, and I speaking this on you, the Minister of National Security. What are your plans to fight and to deal with this high murder rate and the high crime rate?
Now, caller, hold on. Now, that's a great idea. I think he could do that if he wasn't at capacity. But me, you know me, I'm a old ball player now. I got to push for Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture. Come on now. So, come on. That's my old point guard right there, so you know.
Hey, I speaking this on them. So more to be. That's finished.
So more to be, my brother. Well, listen, right, I to your fundamental question. Obviously, the issue of crime, even as we speak, we are in the middle of a it was even 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, it was a 13% increase in murders. Unfortunately, since then, we've had murders since then. So we are in the midst, unfortunately, of another surge. The unfortunate thing as it relates to the government of the Commonwealth, and the tragic thing as it relates to the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, in March of 2022, the Commonwealth of the Bahamas would have had a record number of murders, monthly murders in March of 2022. That same month, myself and the leader of the opposition would have attended a meeting at the office of the Prime Minister where we thought we would be having a real substantive conversation about the way forward. At that very meeting, we made some 30 recommendations on paper to the government. Since then, in our view, we do not feel that the government has put forth a comprehensive plan as it relates to tackling crime in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We have said that crime is not a political issue. We have said, unlike the present government, we're not going to put the murder numbers up on billboards, but just as they had the right on behalf of the Bahamian people to ask what is going to be done as a part of a policy response to the issue of crime in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, we are asking the same thing. No longer, not recent, more recent than in the debate, we asked the government, the Neighborhood Watch Council, that received international acclaim from the International Association of Police Chiefs under the Free National Movement government, as not being sourced, not being supported in the way that would have allowed that program to be internationally acknowledged. That was one of the things we asked about. So while crime, we know, is multifaceted and it's very complex, there are tools that we feel that the government has in its toolbox that they're not using sufficiently. We also talked about the fact that we believe that the fundamental question that should be asked relative to crime in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, not just from an enforcement standpoint, but how do we ensure that that 7, 8-year-old boy or girl who is having such an experience in their life that they feel that embracing a life of crime, even at that age, how do we prevent that 7-year-old child from now evolving, if you will, into a full-blown criminal, if you will, or somebody who is headed for correctional services? That is the fundamental question that we believe that any serious comprehensive policy should start from. Not just enforcement, but how do we prevent? Because the government has talked about, it started off with the prison being a $50 million prison. Now, of course, in this government's MO of changing policies and contradictions, it's now gone to $100 million. But again, the point is, if we do not arrest this problem, every 30 years, we will be building a prison. There won't be enough prisons in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to house criminals if we do not deal with this issue.
You know what I find what most disheartening, I've often said that Wayne Monroe, the current Minister of National Security, is one of the most brilliant defense lawyers in the entire Bahamas.
Yeah, great defense lawyer, horrible Minister of National Security, though. Let's call it for what it is.
If I was to get in trouble, Wayne Monroe would be one of the people I'd look out to represent me. I haven't seen one piece of legislation that tackles crime, the prevention of crime, the enforcement, or the penalties of crime. I mean, why?
Yeah,
being the brilliant lawyer that he is, why isn't he putting more legislation in place to deal with this vexing problem? I'll hang up and continue to listen so to give someone else a chance to call in.
Yeah, and just to button it up, I mean, we have said that in the most decent way, and I do emphasize that, and I don't say that in any jest. We have said that we feel that the Minister of National Security, based on public statements that he has made, based on what has emanated from the Ministry of National Security, we are not, let me just emphasize, we don't blame the government or blame Wayne Monroe when somebody is murdered. What we are holding the government accountable for is not having a comprehensive crime policy with every other aspect of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The government wants to not taunt, but they want to brag about numbers. And I guess from an accountability standpoint, can you blame the government when they talk about the increase in tourist numbers, for example, or whatever numbers they feel is to their benefit? But leadership requires that you also have to be held into account for the numbers that are not so good, or the numbers that actually reflect on your deficiencies and your lack of proper policy. And this is one of those numbers, and the situation of crime continues to be an issue that the government is failing on, because a government's number one priority is to keep its people and the country safe.
Well, the hard talk in the barbershop is that it's bad for business. You know, you don't expect to be a politician all your life, so you want to go back to being successful at what you did. So obviously, if the playing field is leveled for you to, if you got the codes, like on PlayStation, if you know how to play this thing, you're going to do well, right? So you don't want to change up the codes. Let's go to the phone lines. Talking heads. Let's get to the next one, Mr. Producer. Talking heads.
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing, Noddy?
Hey, what's going on, Anton?
Everything good, man. Everything good.
Listen, let me ask you, is that you? Or did we have a body snatcher take over your body today? Or is it AI when you was appearing on your co-hosting your talk show with Howard today? That didn't sound like you, man. I want to make sure this is the real Anton. Or has AI taken over? Or have you been snatched by the body snatchers?
Noddy, you better stop. Good afternoon, Mr. Shannon Don. How you doing, sir?
Hey, Anton, how are you, man? I'm good. And yourself?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Noddy behave, man.
Go ahead, Anton. Make it quick, though. We got a couple other calls, so get it in. Let's go.
Yeah, no problem. Pretty interesting conversation so far, Mr. Deputy. I had 2 questions, and then I wanted to add a few comments. I based on the news that was played on The Guardian today, I noted that Leader Pintard, opposition Leader Pintard, stated that the FNM doesn't feel the value of the T&D infrastructure is 100 million. You all feel that it's more than 100 million. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so I just wanted to appreciate, for the purpose of having an intelligent conversation, on what basis do you all produce that? Did you all produce that statement, right? What was the source that helped to inform that you all feel the value is more than $100 million? And also the second question, I also noted that from the suggestions that opposition leader Pintard made, the opposition, because you all are part of that, he would have suggested that that the government should, rather than looking at partnering with the subsidiary company, that the government should look at funding the restructuring exercise itself. And so I'm wondering, as a Bahamian, on which basis do you all feel that the government would be in a position to be able to fund the restructuring of the T&D and the other aspects, upgrading of the grid, the implementation and upgrading to be able to run LNG and other clean fuel sources, and of course to be able to look at taking on dealing with the legacy debt of BEC, right? And then my comments, Naughty. Those are the two questions. You got those two, Deputy?
Yep, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then my comments. I was watching intently, and I was also there for some of the debate, and I noted that same point, one of the points or two of the points you raised today, one being the deficit target being missed by the government, that was addressed, and I believe that was fairly addressed in Parliament when the Minister of Finance explained that naturally when the government is setting its projections, it would project a more healthy projection than one would normally expect, and therefore even if one misses the target of that deficit projection, one would still be in the ballpark and comfortably where they need to be. And so I noted that was in line with the response from the Minister of Finance to the suggestion that you put forward that the government isn't even meeting its deficit projections, right? And then and also another point that I note that the Attorney General would have addressed, that I think some persons are misconstruing when he said, or maybe they don't understand because of the way he explained it, when he said in the news report again from The Guardian this morning that the government has the ability to repurchase the shares that it would have entered into the partnership agreement with the subsidiary of Pike locally.
Now,
right?
Anton, the good thing about that is we are going over in the 5 o'clock, so I'm going to let Mr. Cartwright answer that in the 5 o'clock hour, because that was one of the questions that we had up there.
Not a problem.
Okay.
Let me just finish the question.
Get it quick, though, because we got to get to the news.
Yes, I understood. And so my understanding of that meaning at any point beyond the maturity point, the government still has the ability, and the maturity point being 25 years, right? The government has the ability without cause to go ahead and seek to repurchase all of the shares that it would have entered into the partnership with the local subsidiary company of Pike with. And so I believe that needs to be clarified to ensure that persons aren't of the view that I hear on the show now persons are expressing regarding what the Attorney General said. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll continue to listen, and Godspeed with you all in the opposition, that you all can perform your duties, Mr. Deputy, which would bode well for the entire country as well as governance as a whole.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right. Now, real quick, let me get, I got a couple of questions for you to get in. This one I want to get before we go to the break, but if possible, we need to go over a little bit into the 5 o'clock hour, if that's possible. If that's good with you.
What's the question?
The question is, this was a good one that you touched on it earlier about, miscommunication and misinformation and information not being disseminated properly and not getting out there. There always seems to be like 2 or 3 stories. Is the lack of communication with the people and indirectly, or, with the opposition and indirectly the people, incompetence or intentional by this administration?
Listen, questioning the intent of a person or an entity, questioning the intention is always a sticky issue. What is fundamentally true and what is consistent is that the government has not been consistent, again, in conveying a number of policy decisions, a number of responses to issues that have arisen. There's always some moving parts as far as we are concerned and the Bahamian people are concerned. Whether it's this issue of the plane, whether it's the issue of BPL, the Bahamian people, they do not feel that the government is straight and being straight with them. That's the view of the Bahamian people. It's just like the Bahamian people's view that despite the government saying that they're not taxing the Bahamian people, the Bahamian people knows that's not the case. You can call it a levy. You can call it whatever you wish. It's a tax, and that's the way that the Bahamian people view it. I'll share with you, for example, Naughty. this question of the Free National Movement selling off NIB assets and so forth, it's a fallacy. The governor of the central bank in March of 2020, the central bank was concerned about the contraction of the Bahamian economy in the second half of March, on the heels of Dorian, and of course with the onset of the pandemic. And so, the central bank said, in keeping with the principle of viewing the National Insurance Board's foreign investments as an extended support for the foreign reserves, the central bank has requested that NIB liquidate some of its external investments and bring the proceeds back onshore. This is another example of the government saying to the Bahamian people that this is what happened and it did not. And so I thought it was important, even on that issue, to clear up that it was the central bank, in their prudence, wise judgment, fiscal prudence, and protecting the Bahamian economy, specifically the structure of foreign reserves, for there to be a liquidation for NIB to liquidate, as has been stated, some of its external investments and bring the proceeds back on shore.
All right, let's get to the news. And on the flip side of the break, on the news, we'll get back to our conversation. About five minutes or so just to answer one or two more. And then we'll wrap up with Mr. Cartwright, and we'll get into the sports in the 5 o'clock hour. Pearlie will join us. Keep it right where you got it. The Friday, June 21st edition of Talking Heads continues right after this.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Living with a neurological condition shouldn't define you. At Cleveland Clinic in Florida, we do whatever it takes to make life better today while discovering new treatments for a brighter tomorrow. From epilepsy management to specialized spine care and brain tumor surgery, we're delivering world-class neurology care for the day-to-day, for the days you live for every care in the world. Visit clevelandclinicflorida.org/Caribbean.
Is it a burger?
No. Is it pizza?
Come on, man, it's KFC. Whatever the crunch this is, it's delicious. New, the Kentucky Pizza Sandwich. Crispy chicken topped with marinara sauce, mozzarella, and pepperoni. Order your pizza sandwich now at kfcnassau.com or at your favorite KFC restaurant today. It's new and it's radical. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances. So come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
We all know that our country's electricity infrastructure is decades old. It is breaking down, it is too expensive, and it cannot transmit clean energy. Small changes aren't enough. We are taking it all on. Upgrading and modernizing the grid, solar power, major energy reform. That's how we get to lower prices and more reliable electricity. It will not happen overnight, but it will be game-changing.
Go to newenergyera.gov.bs to learn more.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is your afternoon update on the Guardian News Network. Hello, everyone. I'm Destiny Johnson. Here's a look at stories making headlines at this hour. The Bahamas National Statistical Institute has released its labor force survey results for the last 2 quarters of 2023. In the third quarter of 2023, the unemployment rate was 10.4%, while in the fourth quarter, the unemployment rate decreased to 9.9%, which represents an increase of 885 employed people. There was a participation rate of 81.2% for men and 72.9% for women. As the NIB rate increase is set to commence on July 1, the Free National Movement says the government has not done enough to inform the public of what will happen. Opposition leader Michael Pintard said he believes that the Davis administration does not have a proper explanation for Bahamians, and officials are working out kinks as they go. Police are searching for 3 men who reportedly robbed a business in the vicinity of Cordo Avenue and Exuma Street on Thursday. Preliminary reports indicate that around 8:30 p.m., the suspects, one of whom was allegedly armed with a handgun, entered the establishment and demanded cash. The culprits reportedly robbed the establishment of an undetermined amount of cash and fled the area on foot south along Exuma Street. Once again, I'm Destiny Johnson. Stay with us. AP News is up next.
All those loans I had were so overwhelming. Fidelity's debt consolidation loan combined all my loan payments into one easy payment with a built-in savings plan that pays me unbeatable interest. It's time to make that move to Fidelity. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Are you looking for a fresh experience? Look no further than Fresh Market. Our store is stocked with the freshest produce, meats, and dairy, all sourced locally and internationally for the best quality. With our commitment to freshness and our friendly associates, your shopping experience is sure to be a breeze. Come visit Fresh Market today and taste the difference freshness can make.
Stay informed with the Nassau Guardian, your news delivered. Are you tired of chasing down the latest news? Why not have it delivered right to your doorstep? The Nassau Guardian is now offering an unbeatable home delivery service. Special subscription rates. 3 months, just $44.80. 6 months, only $79.52. 1 year, an amazing value at $143.36. Your daily news fix all year round. Don't miss out on this opportunity to keep up with the latest in local and international news, sports, business, and entertainment. Subscribe today. Call us at 302-2360 or 302-2353. Our friendly staff is waiting to assist you with your subscription. The Nassau Guardian. We've got the news you need. Don't wait. Call now and let us bring the world to your door.
Sign up now for the 2024 Michael Scootery Peace on the Streets Basketball Classic, taking place Monday, July 15th to Sunday, July 21st at the Hope Center and the Kendall Ice Exchange. We are shooting hoops instead of guns. Phone 601-4842 or visit our Facebook page. Sign up today for the 2024 Michael Scootery Basketball Classic. Peace on the Streets 2024 is coming.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
I'm Jackie Quinn with an AP News Minute. There's been a shooting at a small grocery store in Fordyce, Arkansas. This witness, David Rodriguez, captured the sound from a parking lot next door. At least 2 people have been killed and 6 more injured. Attorney General Merrick Garland says the Justice Department will continue enforcing a ban on people with restraining orders from having a gun. That ban was upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court today. Former President Trump's lawyers are in a courtroom in Florida trying to get his classified documents case thrown out. His advisor, Steve Bannon, has asked the Supreme Court to delay his prison sentence for contempt of Congress. A new study finds the popular obesity drug Zepbound may also help treat sleep apnea, a dangerous disorder in which people struggle to breathe when they sleep. Stocks ended mixed. I'm Jackie Quinn.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
You're never shining tall. These roads of flames are catching a fire.
Talking Heads with Monty is brought to you by the Bahamas South Island Promotion Board, Burger King, the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, the Cleveland Clinic, the Fincastle Media Group, Fine Threads, First Caribbean Bank, Janae's Uniform Center, John's Department Store, Joker's Wild, KFC, Naughty Johnny's, Percy's Island Games, Prince Masters, and Tropical Gyros.
Baby, if you with me, better do right. And I've been gone too long. And I'm hoping that you sing.
We're back at you on the Friday, June 21st edition of Talking Heads. Wrapping things up with F&M Deputy Leader, Mr. Shannon Cartwright. And of course, you know, I got to get this question in. I wanted to ask you this because I think once you answer this will bring a lot of, you know, closure for some people on this whole situation. But in February 2017, and of course, you know, MJ made sure that she's feeling under the weather, but she said, please get this one in from Mr. Cartwright. I'm sure he'll answer one for me. All right. In February 2017, Prime Minister Davis, who was Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works at the time, criticized the F&M's party platform that spoke to the privatization of BPL with majority Bahamian shareholders. Davis said this to a local daily, or to the Tribune, about the F&M. That's their mantra. They don't take on challenges. They try to divest themselves of challenges. I just trust that the Bahamian people recall that they divested themselves of BTC and look at the process that they did it. It went for a song and a dance. We don't believe in divesting ourselves of our national assets, particularly because it's a strategic necessity to our well-being. We need to have some input with respect to something so important. Now, given what Mr. Davis said then and his party's position now, how does the opposition F&M view the government's quick switch to privatize BPL?
Well, it speaks for itself. It truly speaks for itself. And again, it is reflective of a government that speaks out of the two sides of its mouth. This is the same government that said on the campaign that the F&M will increase your taxes, that taxing is lazy. And so we've made the proposition to the Bahamian people, not that they didn't see it, but that this government has showed that they are the lazy ones in taxing the Bahamian people. So this is consistent with a government that continues to be in contradiction. BPL is just the latest issue of a series of issues and policies and decisions that continue to affect the Bahamian people. But as we wrap up, Naughty, let me just say this. The leader of the opposition, Michael Pintard, and myself, we do believe that the time has come for a generational shift in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Not a generational shift just as it relates to age specific, but a generational shift in terms of ideas, in terms of the way we do business on behalf of the Bahamian people. We do not believe it's just about opposing for opposing's sake. We believe that where we oppose, we must propose. And so what we have proposed to the government, as articulated by the leader of the opposition, is one, do not transfer any of BPL's T&D assets to the new grid company, but rather enter into a long-term service agreement that will allow the grid company to purchase new T&D equipment as needed and pass these costs on to BPL over the term of the contract. Two, negotiate a better T&D service fee on behalf of the Bahamian people and ensure that industry-standard service level agreements are governed by performance guarantees and liquidated damages for non-optimal performance. Three, enter into a traditional and industry-standard PPA agreement with the Bahamas Utility Company that includes an industry-standard bill, own, operate, transfer provision that allows for all generation assets acquired over the term of agreement to be transferred to BPL at the end of the contract period. Four, negotiate a power purchase agreement price for electricity generation that assures a reduction in energy costs for consumers and additional margins for BPL. This will give BPL additional operating margins that would contribute positively to the financial health of the company, as well as allow for a reduction in energy costs for consumers and as and when prudent. The government should allow BPL to continue to purchase both LNG and liquid fuels directly from suppliers via a competitive and transparent procurement process. 6, BPL should provide fuel supply directly to each IPP at no additional cost to the IPP and pass their costs directly on to the customer as a 100% pass-through with no additional unnecessary costs. And the government of the Bahamas, 7, via an SPV, should take significant equity stake in a land-based LNG regasification facility and create an LNG bunkering industry that is carefully monitored. This would create a new and significant revenue stream for the Bahamian people and a profitable industry sector that will employ skilled Bahamian workers. This is not an exhaustive recommendation list, but it is just some that the opposition, under the leadership of the Honorable Michael Pintard, have put forward to make sure that we color the complexion of this debate on this issue. And lastly, I wish to say on this issue, we are equally concerned about the workers of BPL, members of the union, management unions, members of line staff. They are concerned about what happens to them. What does their future look like under a proposed deal? And so we will continue to agitate on behalf of the Bahamian people. We will continue to ask the government to come clean and clear on these issues that reflect BPL and all other matters.
Thank you so much for your time. I know you have to get to a pressing meeting, but thank you so much. I know this won't be the last time, but have a great weekend. All the best to you and the fam, and continue to obviously do what you're doing, because the response today has been, obvious that people are interested in what the FNM has to say.
Well, thank you very much. And, we have a great country. I continue to say not the greatest little country, but the greatest country in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We are incubator of intelligence and purpose. And I believe that collectively as a people, even putting aside the politics, that the future prosperity of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas should be determined by the bigness of our ideas and not the smallness of our politics. And may God bless the Bahamian people and bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Have a great weekend, everyone.
You too, man. Be safe, and thanks so much. Let's get to a quick break, Mr. Producer. Flip side of the break, we'll be talking sports as the Friday, June 21st edition of Talking Heads continues right after this.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Learn more at cancercenter.com.
Refined style with elegant taste, then fine threads is your place. If you want those slacks hemmed or just taking the waist, then fine threads is your place. If you wanna look suave and debonair everywhere you go, like you're supposed to be in a video, wanna step out and look great, then fine threads is your place. Refined style with elegant taste, then fine threads is your place. Is your place. Is your place.
The Grand Bahama News is available every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian. You can buy your local paper at Freeport convenience stores, Western Bakery, DeGregory's Fine Foods, and Bellevue Gifts. Now is the time to reach your Grand Bahama market with affordable packages, including print and digital. Call GB News sales representative Kavandre at 822-6717 or message him on WhatsApp for ad rates. Classified ads are now available every Tuesday as well. Keep up with everything Grand Bahamian every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian.
Is it a burger?
No. Is it pizza?
Come on, man, it's KFC. Whatever the crunch this is, it's delicious. New, the Kentucky Pizza Sandwich. Crispy chicken topped with marinara sauce, mozzarella, and pepperoni. Order your pizza sandwich now at kfcnassau.com or at your favorite KFC restaurant today. It's new and it's radical. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Talking Heads with Naughty is brought to you by the Bahamas Out Island Promotion Board, Burger King, the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, the Cleveland Clinic, the Fincastle Media Group, Fine Threads, First Caribbean Bank, Janae's Uniform Center, John's Department Store, Jerkers Wild, KFC, Naughty Johnny's, Percy's Island Games, Prince Masters, and Tropical Gyros.
We're back at you on the Friday, June 21st edition of Talking Heads. Your boy Naughty and your company right up until 6 p.m. Purdy, about to zoom in. Let him in, Mr. Producer. I think Purdy's ready to chime in. We'll set it off with today in sports history. And then, we'll get into who's in and who's out. We'll get to the local scene, the home court, brought to you, of course, by Burger King Nassau. And then, of course, we'll get into the who's in and who's out, brought to you by Tropical Gyros. And we have our picks lined up for you toward the bottom of the hour, brought to you, of course, by the Island Game. And we'll go home today with Parley Carl and Kyle Hurd. Pearly zoomed in yet? What's going on, Pearlissimo? He should be in a second. While we wait on Pearly, though, let me take care of today in sports history for all of you all today in sports history aficionados. All brought to you, of course, by Naughty Johnny's. Well worth the trip out there to the Old Fort Shopping Plaza Monday through Friday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Then on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, great for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast starting at 9 a.m. Lunch and dinner Monday through Friday. All right? But breakfast, lunch, and dinner on Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. is the breakfast. And happy hour every Wednesday, every Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. right out there at Naughty Johnny's. Well worth the trip out there to the Old Fort Shopping Plaza. I hear Purdy's in the building. So let's jump in on today in sports history on this day, June 21st. 1932, heavyweight boxer Max Schmeling lost a title fight by decision to Jack Sharkey. Schmeling's manager Joe Jacobs exclaimed, "We was robbed." End quote. 1939, Lou Gehrig quit baseball due to illness. 1942, Ben Hogan recorded the lowest score to that time in a major golf tournament. Hogan shot a .271 for 72 holes in Chicago. 1954, Australian Johnny Landy ran the mile in 3 minutes and 58 seconds. He was the second person to achieve the feat. 1963, in St. Louis, Bob Hayes set a record when he ran the 100-yard dash in 0.091 seconds. 1970, Tony Jacklin became the second British golfer in 50 years to win the U.S. Open golf tournament. 1997, the Women's National Basketball Association made its debut. The New York Liberty defeated the Los Angeles Sparks 67-57. 1999, the Dallas Stars Stanley Cup Victory Parade took place in downtown Dallas. Pantera rode a float in the parade. Pantera is responsible for the Stars theme song. And it was quite an event. I don't know if they've done it ever since, but nonetheless, it was big when they did it.
I know what you mean.
And of course, sports quote of the day, it's deja vu all over again. Yogi Berra. You know Yogi had some of the greatest quotes ever.
Yeah.
All right,
but it's through his quotes that shows you that baseball is relevant from what happened in 1932 to the same as what happened in 2024.
There you go. Very, very true. And listen, we'll talk baseball in a minute. But let's do the local scene first, okay?
Yes, please.
All brought to you, of course, by Burger King Nassau, and you can get angry with Burger King. The Angry Whopper, the Angry Chicken, and the Angry Breakfast Sandwich. Be sure to check them out at your favorite Burger King Nassau locations. All right, Eastwood Judo Championship set for June 23rd at the Donald Davis Gym. Tournament is predicting a strong turnout with 30 to 35 judokas competing. So that's good stuff right there.
Wonderful, yes.
All right. Mikhail McLean joins the University of Kentucky men's basketball staff as an assistant coach.
Super.
And this comes from a great quote from Mark Pope. Mikhail's work with the Bahamian national team, along with his college coaching experience, has allowed him to become one of the hardest working, detail-oriented, and top skill development coaches in the country. I'm so excited to have him and his family join our staff and for him to get to work with our team because he's going to make a massive impact on this program. Mark Pope. You can't get any better compliment than that from the head coach.
No, you can't. That's super.
And if you listen to what Pope said, McLean has head coach in the college division written all over him in a matter of years. It's only a matter of time. Might be a Division II school, might be a small Division I program, but he will inevitably have a major college program to coach when he's said and done. A lot of potential there.
Exciting.
And the BA Nationals resume in Freeport this weekend. That's going to be the 14U, 12U, 10U, 8U coach, pitch, and T-ball divisions all over there in Freeport. As you know, the under 23 division was won last week by the Mario Ford Baseball League. Well, coached by Mario Ford, and I think it's the Community Baseball League. That was the under 23 team. And of course, the under 16 title went to JBLN, the Junior Baseball League of Nassau. They knocked off Freedom Farm in the final 9-1. Second time they beat the Farm in that as well. So 2 of those divisions have already been decided, under 23 and under 16. And now we have under 14, under 12, under 10, under 8, and coach, pitch, and T-ball all coming up this weekend. Should be hotly contested. Teams from Nassau, from New Providence, from Freeport, from Abaco, from Bimini. And
you going, Norty?
Yeah. No, I'm staying right here, brother.
My nephew not going?
No, 16U. Okay. 14U, that shoulder, that arm, you know, we're going to rest that before we do anything else.
Yes, I forgot. Yeah.
It's the bigger picture and you trust the process.
Okay.
But like I say, it should be hotly contested. And we should, it kicks off this weekend.
Super. That should be nice. That should really get some good baseball.
There you go. So glad to see that local scene looking good. And now let's get into the international scene. Who's in and who's out? All brought to you, of course, by Tropical Gyros. Don't forget, you got the flagship store over there on Mackey, the newest location over there in the west at R&D Plaza, and over there in Freeport. That location, all locations open for you right now. All right, so be sure to make part of your Tropical Gyros part of your ride home today. You know what I mean? I'll go check them out tomorrow. They're all good. All right, so who's in and who's out, Pearly? I hear, and I going straight for it. You know, I don't like greed. You know, Lord bless the dead, a very good friend of mine, one of my mentors in this world, the late Brian Arner, always had a saying. He used to tell me, Naughty, piggy gets nice and fat, hog goes straight to the slaughter. I don't want to see the Dodgers become hoggish and go to the slaughter for your sake, Pearly. But no.
Why would you even think that?
Now, off the obscenity that was your off season, okay? And I used the word, it was obscene the way you paid for and purchased and did what you all wanted.
Yes.
Now you all have the Blue Blazers, the Dodger Blue Blazers, audacity now to go public and say the Dodgers are courting Josh Rado, Jazz Chisholm from the Miami Marlins.
Yeah. And Bo Bichette from the Toronto Blue Jays.
You all really trying to...
And the ace pitcher from Chicago White Sox.
Hold on. You all know what you all stinking Dodgers trying to do to me, right? You know you can play on my Bahamian pride, my Bahamian culture, the fact that you know me and Jazz tight. And you can check and re-raise that and throw one of my Don't Blink nephews in there in the form of Bo Bichette. One of my Don't Blink babies that grew up in front of me and made the pros.
Yeah.
You really...
You may want to become a Dodger.
But you really pushing me to just wipe out all three one time. Let's go around, everybody. Lakers, Cowboys, and Yankees one shorty. Jesus Lord. Listen, I will go honest with you. For the you know, the sake of my late good friend and fellow coach, Mr. Frankie Simmons, the late great Frankie the Yankee, I will never go against the Yankees. But I will tell you this. If Jazz end up in the Dodgers, that's my National League team. I'd wear a Jazz jersey, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, okay? Because I never had a National League team in the history of my life, okay?
It could happen, but
except for that one time in '79 when I was just a youngster, and my grandpa and my uncle, God bless the dead, Uncle Meredith, and my grandpa Cam, they was pulling for the Orioles in that World Series against Pittsburgh, and I just was taken in by a group of young ladies, Sister Sledge singing "We Are Family," and Willie Stargell and Matlock and the Cobra Dave Parker. They did their thing in '79, boy. That was the last time I put for a National League team at all in any way, shape, or form. So you have an opportunity to pull me back over.
He was a huge Pirate fan.
All right, let's go to the phone lines real quick. Talking heads.
But the bottom line here is the Dodgers, Gavin Lux is just not cut it out. So we're looking to upgrade from him.
No, but if you do get Jazz, are you going to put him in center field or are you going to put him in shortstop?
No, he may play short or second. Depends. We have not ruled out Mookie playing short. But if he
Hold
comes, he
on.
plays short.
If you leave Mookie at short and Jazz at second, that is a disgusting infield because your third baseman is pretty decent and your first baseman is that young kid y'all just brought up, right?
No, our first baseman is the great Freddie Freeman.
Oh, that's right. They got Freddie on first. Dear God, that's a stinking infield, babe.
Then we got arguably the best catcher in Will Smith.
They don't even go there. You got the best catcher in Will Smith. You have the best catcher in baseball right now.
We got a rookie who's in the money for Rookie of the Year and a Cuban guy at the powerhouse who's playing center field. And then Teoscar Hernandez took a chance on himself, gambled on himself, took a cut to come to the Dodgers this year, and he's proven himself that he'll get himself a nice contract next year. And Jason Hayward looking good in right field.
And again, and I'll be honest with you, I have to tip my hat. I mean, Dave Roberts messes up on the field, but that Dodger front office gets it done correctly and gets it done right.
I have to argue that point. Dave Roberts had the team that had probably the most injuries in baseball last year.
Purdy, spare me, Purdy. Listen, your love-hate relationship with Dave Roberts, I'm not doing this again. Your bromance with him, I know how this can go. You can defend him now. If something happened with the Dodgers, the first thing you can say is, that old drunkard got to get out of there. I can't stand Dave Roberts.
Hold on. I will not say that about him. He has won me over based on the work I saw he did last year and taking an injury-plagued team where every starter was hurt at least one. Then you lose your 4 pitching starters. I got a bunch of rookies, a bunch of second-year and a couple of second-year players where he stared that team. It wasn't his fault what happened in the playoffs. Mookie bat went dry. Freddie Freeman bat just went dry. Mookie went 4 for 30. So that's all right. Dave Roberts didn't make any bad moves. And now, even thinking about it, we called them having bad moves back in 2017 against Houston. Come to find out Houston was cheating. So I don't necessarily think he made bad moves then.
All right, let's go to the phone lines, Freddie. I am so shocked by this love affair with Dave Roberts. It's crazy, but I know you, and it's coming. He can make one boo-boo to full decision in a tight game, and it's coming. I know it's coming. But anyway, let's go to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Yeah, Nutty, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on, Mystery? What's happening with you?
What's up, Pearly?
Hey, my brother, what's happening? You application too? No problem.
Hold on. Nutty.
Yo, go ahead.
Listen, you don't sound no way as Pearly described yesterday. Pearly described, you don't sound...
No. Listen. When I left home today, your friend MJ, who's under the weather.
I'm trying to wonder if it's
as
MJ.
I was leaving, she said, no. As I was leaving, she said, listen, I under the weather, and you need to get out of the doldrums. I was in a funk, bro, and I'm still in a funk. Let me explain to you when I saw the Lakers hired J.J. Redick.
Right.
And then the Bronsexuals in Clutch Sports put out the statement. LeBron James said nothing about to management about hiring J.J. Redick. Well, no, you didn't have to because you do a podcast with J.J. Redick, which you sponsor, which you pay that man to do, and he pushes your narratives, so there wasn't going to be no interview process. They picked up on it. Let's make LeBron happy. Let's bring in his coach. So now we know that LeBron's going to be coaching the team. Because if you don't think you can tell JJ shut up and huddle at some point and run a play he wants at some point in time, we know it's coming.
All right,
and then to acquiesce to him, they probably going to... Let me finish. Then to acquiesce him even more, they probably could take Bronny with the 54th pick. All right? That's total nausea for me. Total desecration of a once mighty, legendary, winning Laker franchise. They're going against totally what we did to be Lakers. What made us Lakers. They're going against it. They're going away from it. The front office is denied oxygen in the womb. Jerry West just hit his grave and he rolling over in it. Jerry Buss been rolling over in his grave. So I'm done. And I was very depressed. And I was trying to get over it. And now here you come and got me fired up again now, man.
Okay, now
and
while
I've been on Jack Daniels for 2 weeks, but now you want to make me go have a drink.
Hold on.
Father.
Nutty.
Woosa.
Nutty, you still there?
Yes.
While I acquiesce with you, right? I still have a question for you. See, you off age now. See that you sound like an off age child who making noise and crying and making all of the noise in the house. You could leave home, you know. You over age now. You could leave home. Just say you leaving. That's all. You off age. Just say it.
Okay, listen. Allow me. That may be coming. I'm still contemplating it. Okay.
Yeah, you old enough. You didn't graduate. You didn't leave college and everything. You off age now.
Right.
You could leave home. So
as a go to the Celtics, but they ain't know how to tell us.
Oh, me? I wouldn't go to the Celtics. That's one thing you could take your ode to Jesus to. I wouldn't go to the Celtics.
I'm wondering after that sad news Purdy gave us yesterday, if it made MJ sick. And you healthy. What's going on?
No. The MJ come basketball. MJ is fine. MJ is a big Spurs fan. Wembanyama just gained 20 pounds in muscle. He's working out. The Spurs got another high pick. Trust me.
Oh, so MJ caught what you had.
MJ gonna have plenty mouth this basketball season. Maybe more mouth than me and Purdy because they might end up catching up our Lakers and doing something. I don't know. The jury's still out.
Okay, so what's your decision then?
What's my decision?
Like I said, I acquiesce with you because I believe, and I told Pearly yesterday, that LeBron James is going to be coaching the team. So what are you going to do?
I personally, if it pans out the way I see it panning out, then I will put myself in self-imposed Laker exile and wait until the demise.
Well, why don't you just join the wife?
No, I'm not going to join the Spurs. I got too much hate for the Spurs, bro. I got too much disgusting hate for them stinking Spurs. Stinking Tony Parker, stinking Manu Ginobili, stinking Tim Duncan. Don't get me started, bro. If anything, what I will do, to be fair to Purdy, who is an older Laker, I will put myself in self-imposed Laker exile until LeBron leaves and Redick goes, and I will just appreciate the game of basketball.
No, but you ain't Redick that much.
He's a stinking Duke. He went to Duke, but what do you mean if I don't hate him? I hate him from when he came in the league because he played for Duke. I hate Duke. Anything that comes out of Duke is trash.
Let me ask a question.
You ain't really making me feel better today, mystery. You ain't doing nothing. You thought you was helping me? You're not.
Well, at least I said I acquiesce with you.
I know.
There should be some kind of Panadol or something.
One question. Strictly hypothetical now. I don't want to say they ain't going to happen. I want to look at it hypothetically. That's all. For the fun of it, please. What happens if they win a championship? What do you do then?
That's hypothetical. Come on, man. That only could be hypothetical.
No. Hypothetical. I just want to know what would his
You sound like Skilla yesterday. Come on, man. Don't bring the old song back.
No, Pearly, listen. I'll cross that bridge if we come to it. How about that? I'll cross that bridge if we come to it.
All right.
I don't think we can come to that bridge, but if we come to that bridge, I will have to cross it.
No, do you think Bronny coming?
Well, with that signing yesterday, it looks like with the 54 pick, if he's around, Bronny coming to L.A.
Listen, even if he come on the 54th pick, he will not be on the 12-man roster.
He'll be in the D League, in the G League.
He will be in the G League. He will not be on the 12-man roster. He will not. So it doesn't matter. Whoever is pick probably will not be on the 12-man roster. So it really doesn't matter. The real one is number 17. That's the pick that we need to be looking at.
All right, now y'all take care. All the best, MJ.
Thank you for really upsetting me going into my weekend. I was doing so good, and now you come in like a Grinch and soured it. But thank you, Mr.
Pearly can bring it up anyway.
No, I already had my fun with him. I took my pity on him on WhatsApp and that too. So we're good.
Oh, okay. All right. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, Pearly. Yeah, Mystery, be safe. Yeah, Pearly. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, understood. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens. God willing, it may work out for the best.
That's a big if, bro. That's a big if.
I'll accept a Western Conference Finals. I'll accept that.
You'll accept anything not to have to go through.
No, it doesn't bother me at all like that. Right now I'm concentrating on my hopefully soon to be World Series Dodgers. So
Yeah, I got a text in here for you.
Okay.
It says, Naughty, the Dodgers need everybody on that choking team. The Dodgers will screw Purdy over one more time again.
Jeffrey. Don't worry about it. Worry about your Yankees and that beating you took last night from Baltimore. That's what you need to be concentrating on.
Listen, that's one cut skin, all right? I mean, if you look at the big picture, the Yankees still in good shape, buddy. So don't get too out of pocket, okay?
I'm not saying they're not in good shape. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's paying more attention to my Dodgers than he should be paying attention to your Yankees.
Listen, this just coming across the wire. Brandon Ingram expected to be traded. Do you think we could trade AD back to the Pelicans for Brandon Ingram?
Brandon Ingram, no. Brandon Ingram, no. I don't want Brandon Ingram there. We could do better than that.
Boy, the Kings are going to probably go after Zach LaVine. Caruso got traded from the Bulls to the Thunder today. That was a good move right there for Josh Giddey. That was a big move.
That's big for the Thunder if he's back to his form.
Yes, indeed. Well, Pearly, who we got tonight? We got some WNBA games tonight, correct? And we got a couple of baseball games.
Yeah.
So line them up.
They have the WNBA voting going on. Of course, you know who's leading the vote.
Yeah, we kind of knew that was coming, Pearly.
But my girl in the top 10.
What's say?
I think my girl is in the top 10.
Your girl set a record. First WNBA rookie to get to 100 points and 100 rebounds this early in the season.
Yep.
And she's got 13 or 14 straight double-doubles. That's a record.
Yep.
So
she's leading in a lot of categories. She should be in the money for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and just so you know, Kobe's disciple Ionescu, she went off the other night at the tune of 31-9.
She goes off all the time.
She's off, boy. She goes off.
You got the Indiana and the Fever at the Atlanta Dream tonight, and then Connecticut Sun at the Las Vegas Aces.
The Atlanta team is in the toilet. I think I'm gonna go with Indiana tonight. Caitlin Clark now.
Boy, I don't know.
Yeah, Atlanta been playing bad lately.
But I still can go to Atlanta. I think they can come out of tonight.
All right, and who we got in baseball, Pearly?
And then you go with the Aces over the Sun, eh?
You know that? I gotta go good. No. Listen, let me show you now. Let me show you something. The Aces played a great game the other night and got scoring from everybody. I think they've woken up, Pearly. They're woken up. Tonight might be a game. If they're the underdog against the Sun, take the points. Even if they lose, this could be a tight game. They probably going to pull the upset. Asia Jones playing well now, and the team's starting to step up. All those other contributing factors starting to step up. That Aces team is very good.
There it is.
And that one of their teams that's good enough to be 6-6 right now and say, look, when it's all said and done, we could be like 18-7, 19-7, and we can make this playoffs and we could be fine. That's what they're capable of doing. They could peel off 10, 11 games in a row easy.
But I see another developing situation over in the Stanley Cup. You know, the Panthers was up, I think, 3-0 on the Oilers side. The Oilers came up 2 games in their home tonight. They could tie it up and force a game 7.
Only Kyrie them couldn't have worked that history, eh?
Yeah, so we'll see what happens tonight. That's a possibility.
All right, there you go, man. Good stuff, Pearly. Well, another good job holding it down for us on Thursday yesterday. Good stuff. And we've got another week coming up next week. I want you to have a great weekend. We're going to take that commercial break now. And, of course, Colin Cowherd taking us home today. And the Herd is hooking us up, boy. He's talking about J.J. Redick. And he says, don't worry about J.J. Redick being the Lakers coach. You got to worry about the Lakers front office impatience. Yeah. Maybe they might make some bad signings and some bad boo-boo deals along the way that's going to mess that up.
Great Rambus, them. I don't know why they just don't get rid. Oh, Jenny can stop relying on them so much.
Anyway, did you see the Laker rant video that I did?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, that's gone viral.
Yeah, I know. I saw it.
People in the States hitting me about it. And I don't know you, but I'm going to follow you now. I agree.
I forget. I told you I come in to pick up the Magic and Kareem jerseys.
Yes, you can come for the Magic and Kareem jerseys. I've held them for you. The Magic lunchbox is gone, though. I gave that to Patrick Tully, my schoolmate from way back in the day.
No problem. I really didn't want the lunchbox. I'm good.
All right, great. Have a great weekend, man. We'll take a quick break. And on the flip side of the break, we'll be getting into the final 10 with Colin Cowherd, man. For Pearly, for MJ, for everybody who contributed all week long, for Mr. Producer. Have a great weekend, Bahamas. Be good. And if you can't be good at it. We'll see you Monday right here on Talking Heads.
Ciao.
Are you tired of the hustle and bustle of city life, yearning for a relaxing getaway without the headaches of international travel? Well, we've got just the thing for you. Escape to paradise without leaving home with our limited time 2-fly free offer for Bahamas residents. Whether you're craving adventure, seeking to reconnect with your roots, or simply yearning to unwind in secluded shores, the Family Islands has something for everyone. But you better act fast, because this incredible 2-fly-free offer is only available until June 30th. Don't let this opportunity slip away. So why wait? Book your trip today. Escape the ordinary, discover the extraordinary, and experience the magic of the Family Islands. Visit BahamasResidence.com for more information and start planning your ultimate island getaway today.
Play with Island Games. We making dreams come true. Play with Island Games. We paying more out to you. Don't mind the noise in the market. You getting cash in your pocket. 'Cause Island Games is spicy and spicy is tradition. So when you play Island Games, we putting Bahamians first. Guaranteed to pay Island Games. We like them other jokers. We've been here from the start. From the bike to computer. Island Games. We gonna make your dreams come true. We playing with Island Games.
We all know that our country's electricity infrastructure is decades old. It is breaking down, it is too expensive, and it cannot transmit clean energy. Small changes aren't enough. We are taking it all on. Upgrading and modernizing the grid, solar power, major energy reform. That's how we get to lower prices and more reliable electricity. It will not happen overnight, but it will be game-changing.
Go to newenergyera.gov.bs to learn more. John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home goods, so come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
JJ Redick. Here are two very common traits, in highly successful people. High IQ, highly competitive. Not a lot of failures. Smart people who are very driven and competitive succeed. Coach K at Duke has had a lot of smart people and a lot of competitive people come through that program for all those years. And at 77 years old today, he acknowledges JJ was as smart as any player he's ever had and as competitive as any player he's had. Now, the only thing that gets in the way of really smart, competitive people, men or women, the only trait that can get in the way of that is stubborn. And you see that just puncture really smart, competitive people. I don't know JJ well enough to know, is he stubborn? But in the NBA, you have to be adaptable. It's a long, long season. There's injuries. There's egos. You got to be able to pivot. Keep players happy. But I'll be honest about this. He'll be a quick learner. I don't really worry about J.J. Redick. I worry about the Lakers' impatience and competency. Just think about this. The two best teams in the league, in my opinion, they're favored next year are the Celtics and Denver. Denver landed the Joker, the best player in the world. Surrounded him with good players. And it still took an excellent coach, Mike Malone. What was it, 7 years to win a title? With the best player in his prime? Didn't have to trade for him and give up draft capital. They got him in the second round. Took him 7 years with a Joker. Best player in the world in his prime. The Celtics landed two excellent players. Maybe not as good as Joker, but Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Excellent players. They had excellent coach, Brad Stevens, who's now an excellent GM, Brad Stevens. Took them 7-8 years. They had to add pieces. So whether you land the best player in the world or two other elite players, we've had 6 champions in 6 years. The talent is all spread out. Gone are the Shaq Kobe years, the Magic Kareem Worthy years. It's not like that anymore. Hard to get a third star. Now, the good news for the Lakers, they have 3 nice pieces. Anthony Davis is a top 12 player. Defensively, he's a gem. LeBron's still very, very, very good and a playmaker. He makes people around him better. And Austin Reeves is a solid playmaker. If I had to move him, I would, but he's a solid playmaker. They could also trade D'Angelo Russell if he opts in, or if he opts out, they got $18 million to play with. So there are far worse situations in the NBA to inherit what J.J. Redick is. But there's a lot of things to consider here. They don't have any shooters. J.J.'s a shooter. He wants a roster of shooters. That's his game. The other thing, like the Yankees or the Dallas Cowboys, Lakers are a big brand in a big city, and the expectations are always a little unrealistic. And here's the other thing. Anthony Davis played 76 games. LeBron played 71. They're not going to play that many games next year. That's the healthiest AD and LeBron have been in years. And that got him a play-in game and getting almost swept by Denver. They played Denver well, but that's what AD playing every night got you. That's what LeBron playing virtually every night got you. I'd bet my 401k that AD's not playing 76 games as a Laker next year. Okay? So that's stuff to think about. So the Lakers, to me, need a lot of patience here. This is not a championship roster. I'm going to propose a massive deal after the break, something to consider. But I don't worry about J.J. Redick. Mike Krzyzewski's like, that's the smartest players ever had. And he had like Quinn Snyder and other guys, a lot of smart guys. Trajan Langdon was a smart guy. I mean, Shane Battier, it's like Duke. It's like smartest guys in the world, right? Like some of the smartest basketball players ever, Dukies. And Coach K is like, yeah, that's the smartest player I ever had. That's a competitive player I've ever had. So, he'll be fine. I wish they would have made the move earlier so he could build a better staff, but you cross your fingers on that. There's this other issue to consider. Dan Woike, LA Times. Remember, stuff gets out when somebody wants it out. According to his story, Redick's ascent as a favorite in the coaching search came without LeBron James urging. They wanted to make sure that got out. In fact, they were more concerned about how AD felt about the move, according to this story, who doesn't co-host a podcast with J.J. Redick. So you got to balance that, baby. That's something. That is something. But again, in review, the J.J. Redick, smart, competitive. As long as he's not stubborn, he'll be fine. Lakers, competency, patience, I haven't seen it in a decade. That's my concern. So I'm going to throw this out there. I am not proposing this. This is not my big trade proposal, but it's something that needs to be addressed. Trae Young, and I've said before, I would have no problems. Trae Young with LeBron James, space the floor with LeBron and AD, I'm for it. Trae Young sent out a tweet, an hourglass, a cryptic post after the J.J. Redick news. So how do the Lakers get a Trae Young? Well, they could move D'Lo. They could move some bench guys, James Vanderbilt. They could give up 3 first-round picks. Probably have to give up Austin Reeves. I'd be here for it. I know. I'd be here for it for Trae Young. I do think Trae Young would work here. It feels like something AD would like because Trae Young would space the floor. It'd be harder to collapse. It's very easy now to collapse on Anthony Davis because the Lakers don't have anybody that can shoot a 3. And Trae Young's an elite 3-ball, true point guard. At least in 2024, he's a point guard. And he's a playmaker. So LeBron wouldn't have to be the overwhelming playmaker every time down the floor. Trae Young could do some of that. LeBron could play off the ball occasionally, conserve some energy. You couldn't just collapse on Anthony Davis, so he would space the floor. So it's the sort of thing the Lakers do. Big, splashy trades, free agent signings, not working through the draft. They're not the Royals or the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's not what they do. They're not even OKC, a well-run team that loves to draft and develop. But I don't know if OKC has the guts to pull off a big trade. Sam Presti likes to draft and develop and accumulate picks, and that's fine. So does Boston, but Boston had the guts to go out and get Porzingis and Drew Holiday, and they're champs. But I do think this works. He's a floor spacer. He is what they are not. in his prime, really quick, playmaker, and can shoot threes. I mean, this team is the Celtics, number one in the NBA shooting threes. Lakers 28th. I mean, he is exactly what the doctor ordered. Quick, twitchy, prime, threes, playmaker. And it should be noted, what was J.J. Redick? He was a guard that shot threes. How do we know if J.J. Redick can coach bigs? He never was a big. He's never coached bigs. But I know J.J. Redick. If you listen to J.J. Redick, this is a guy J.J. Redick could work with. J.J. Redick was a playmaker. He was a moving around the floor guy. He was a shooting threes guy. My guess is quarterbacks, no quarterbacks. Playmakers and shooters, no playmakers and shooters. He'd be good with Trae Young. So I wouldn't propose this, but I'd be okay with it. I think there's a better deal out there. But I do think another thing to consider, if you made the Trae Young deal, and I was at an event in the last 6-7 months where Trae Young was there and LeBron made a point of showing up. Just saying. I was at the event. LeBron didn't have to come. Trae Young was there, and LeBron made sure he got to the event just to shake hands, say hi. It would also, Trae Young would also create some momentum and inertia. Because when a new coach takes over, J.J. Redick with no experience, if you gave him the same roster, people would be picking him apart. Trae Young would take a lot of the attention away from us micro-managing, micro-inspecting J.J. Redick. We'd have all the eyes on Trae Young, LeBron, and AD. We wouldn't worry as much about coaching. Because the Lakers didn't have any three-ball shooters in the three-ball league, all we did is talk about Darvin Ham's rotations. You get Trae Young in, we're going to be talking about Trae Young, not the coach. So I think the Trae Young, him putting out an hourglass is saying, it's a matter of time. I would be on board with that. Now, J-Mac is not a Trae Young fan, and he's a pretty shaky defensive player. But it should be noted, so is Luka, and y'all love Luka. There's a lot of guys in this league who are offensive players who are not great defensive players. Trae Young has gotten better as a defensive player, but he is a playmaker, he is a shooter, he's in his prime, and I'll tell you, biggest city in the South, he is a big city player. When he broke into this league, where did he play best? New York City. Trae Young is not going to wither under the lights. He's a big city player. Atlanta's the big city in the South. Loved playing in New York. He'd fit in Los Angeles. He would not shrink. So if that's the move, and Trae Young's giving